back to CBB Review Courtside. This is your host, George Bagwell. I'm here with Season 4, Episode 6, joined by Belmont head coach Casey Alexander. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Glad to do it. Thanks for asking.
First question I've got for you. You moved up from the OVC to the MVC last year, and pretty seamlessly. How did you manage to do that as a program and a team?
Yeah, I don't know if it felt seamless. It was definitely a challenge. Honestly, it was, a great respect for the OVC. We had a great tenure there, but it was everything about the Missouri Valley was more difficult if you're talking about winning and losing games, but also better if you're talking about, tradition-rich programs and fan bases and arenas and things like that. So it was a great move for Belmont. It took us some getting used to, but I would say more that we survived it than anything else first year.
You've got two really good sophomores coming back, in Cade Tyson and Jacoby Gillespie. How integral are those two to your program this year?
Yeah, really important. We have a young team. I would expect us probably to start 4 sophomores. And so that's never good, and it's especially not ideal when you think about how many COVID players are still out there and how many teams still have a lot of age with the transfer portal as well. But Cade and Jacoby are, they feel like seasoned vets a little bit. They both had, Cade started practically the whole season last year. Jacoby was our 6th man and even started 6 or 8 games himself. And so those guys prove that they belong at this level and can be really good players in this league. Naturally, they're going to have to carry more of the burden this year, but I think they're prepared to do that.
So y'all brought in a transfer from the city of Nashville, different school, Malik Dia. Can you speak a little bit on him and how he will be able to help the program this year?
Yeah, he'll help us a lot. Malik's a guy that we recruited pretty extensively through high school until it was apparent that he was going to choose from any number of Power 5 programs. Ended up going to Vanderbilt, which is 5 blocks away from our campus. And so when he made the decision to leave, it was pretty easy for us to get involved, and I think a pretty natural fit. He is a really talented player, kind of an interior presence that's got a lot of versatility that we have not had in a long time, if we've ever had it. So adding him to our group, another sophomore, but adding him to our group should really help us.
So y'all placed 7th in the country last year in 3-point percentage at 38.8%. Even with the loss of Ben Shepard and Drew Freiberg, do you think that's an attainable number again?
I don't know if we expect to be in the top 10, but we've always been a really good 3-point shooting team. We've always had a lot of guys that can contribute from behind the arc. And so, a lot of people don't know it, but we've actually, since we made the move to Division I 25 years ago, we've made more threes than any team in the country has. I think Duke is 2nd. So it's important to who we are. It's how we recruit. It's how we play. I would expect us to have good numbers, both from a makes per game perspective and from a percentage perspective. But whether that's top 10 or not, I think it'll be good enough.
So your teams, going back to 2015 with Lipscomb, have won 20 games plus in a season. What is the main ingredient in your mind that you've been able to use to sustain that success?
Well, good players and a good staff to put those guys in the right position. And you don't have any level of success if you don't have those 2 things in order. I think we know who we are. I think we know what we're trying to accomplish. We've had a lot of stability and kind of cohesion that goes into that as well. But recruiting to a style, playing a certain way, winning is hard. It's hard to learn how to win. But once you kind of cross over that hump, it carries you a little bit, and that's all part of the reason why I came to Belmont. It's a tradition. It's a program that's won 20 games or more, 12 straight seasons, and I think 19 out of the last 20 or something close to that. So it's nice to be at a place where winning is the expectation, and we've just kind of carried that on.
So Belmont wouldn't be Belmont without Rick Byrd. You spent years there as an assistant under him. How crucial was he to your development as a coach?
Yeah, incredibly crucial. He's the only experience I have as an assistant coach. Played for him for 4 years and then immediately started coaching and was an assistant for 16. So I learned a lot in those 20 years and give him all the credit for any success that I'm having out on my own now. So he's He's very well respected as an X's and O's guy, a really brilliant mind as far as offense is concerned, especially. And I picked up a lot of that from him. There's no doubt about that. But he's even better, as a molder of young men and a character guy and an integrity guy and a guy that you want to pattern your program around. So best of both worlds, working for him and playing for him.
Absolutely. Being in Nashville, how does being in a city like that benefit your recruiting?
Yeah, immensely. I mean, it's the growth and popularity of Nashville is off the charts. I mean, we literally have 100 people moving into our city every day for the last 5 years on average. So it's a very popular place, and that coincides with a lot of real great growth at Belmont. Our campus has had record enrollment for 20 plus years, a real healthy place. We've had construction cranes on our campus literally for over 20 years because of the growth and trying to expand and everything else. So when you think about the way that Belmont has improved and the way that Nashville has grown, those two things together make for a really sweet spot.
Absolutely. With the way that Belmont's offense is run, just with that fast tempo, Jacoby Gillespie, probably one of the fastest guards on the team.
Yeah, 100%. Fastest guys out there anywhere. He's a tremendous athlete, really good and explosive from end to end. I think that's where his improvement will come. He's got a much better feel for the game in general and what's a good shot, what's a bad shot, what he can do, what he can't do, kind of the natural progression that comes with going through a freshman season. So those are the areas where I think he will improve significantly. But the guy had SEC, ACC football offers, and so you don't get those without being a pretty talented guy.
Awesome. That's about all the questions I've had today for you, Coach. I
All right,
really appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
Thank you. You have a good one.
Take care.